Hey guys, there's two things. You're getting ready to watch a video here. I get a little bit loud and stuff. But two things I wanted to mention. I'm responding to Jimmy Phelps's comment on a page. It'll tell all about it in a minute. And, there's places because we have been told both. Again, Sheila and I do not have the report on Johnny Edrington's death. We don't have nothing to go by other than newspaper articles, rumors, and what people tell us. I've been told that Jimmy Phelps was the detective that investigated, or one of the detectives that investigated Johnny Edrington's death. And I've been told that Johnny Phelps, his brother, was the detective that investigated Johnny Edrington's death. I don't know which. And in this video following this coming up, I refer to Jimmy several times as the detective. But if Jimmy wasn't the detective, he was still a Kentucky State Trooper, and him and his brother would have still conferred on this case. So whether it was him or Johnny who was the detective at the time, I don't know. I'm not sure. I've been told both, and I thought, well, I better go back and make sure that. So when you hear Jimmy or you hear detective or you hear Johnny or whatever, could be either one of them. Ever what the report says is who the detective was. At either point, even if it was Johnny that was the detective, Jimmy could still answer the questions after 36 years that him and his brothers discussed. They could still answer the questions, or he could confer with his brother and get the answers. Second thing is, I've got a challenge to put out here. I was going to put this at the end of the video, but I'll throw it out now. I've got a challenge to Jimmy Phelps, and Lieutenant Colonel Doug Asher. If you guys are so adamant about closing this case, so concerned and really sincere that we find out what happened to Johnny Edrington and all the information dealing with Johnny Edrington's time at Post 11, we're asking you to sign a letter to the State Police Commissioner as former detectives of the case, former investigators of the case, former captain at the time, former captain of the case of the Post. We're asking you to submit letters to the Kentucky State Police asking for this case to be reopened, that it needs to be re-examined. If you'll do that and post a picture on your Facebook page of that letter, that would be nice. That would be a start to let us see that you're really sincere. And that way we'll know that it's put in the file someday when the file is reopened, because this file is going to be reopened one day. And when it gets reopened, then we'll be able to see if that was really, or maybe we could get that from an open records request to show that the letter was actually sent, not just written and put on Facebook, but actually sent to the Kentucky State Police. And if Asher and the two Phelps brothers would do that, that would be great. Guys, enjoy the video coming up. I get a little bit, got my feelings hurt, and because I had rumor started on me. And actually, I don't get that upset over rumors, because if you've been a cop for 40 years, there's not many things people can't say about you and won't say or anything else. That's just part of police work. And in fact, I said that in one of our videos once before, talking about rumors. But for Jimmy and Johnny to get so upset over rumors over the years, Jimmy went out and made one up on me. So I'm responding to it. Hope you enjoy the video. Please bring that information in. Let's solve this case and catch you on the next one.
Hi, guys. Hope you're having a great day. It's Fred and Sheila with FS Investigates, or Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures, or our new one, which is FS Adventures. And we would like to thank the person who sent us these shirts. He has one and I have one as well, as you can see. I don't know if they want their name mentioned,
I don't
but
know. If they do, they can put it in the comments. Thank you
Thank you.
for the
We love the
shirts.
shirts. That's
And I don't know
awesome.
if they sell the shirts or if they just had them made for us. If you sell the shirts, I'm sure there's other people out there that would want some.
Mm,
So if you want to put something in the comments, you're welcome to do that. We just
please
don't
do.
never know when to mention somebody's name and when not.
Right.
Guys, actually, the last video we did was no news to report,
Right.
and we were just waiting, hopefully somebody would contact a news group, um, some kind of national syndicated television show that may
Mm,
be interested in doing a video on Johnny, or a documentary, more or less, a news group, a documentary, anything to get some attention, because that's what it's going to take. I mean, we've told everything from the state police missing evidence to not interviewing witnesses. We've told everything that we know.
right.
I mean, they're missing the man's uniform. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And we can't get nothing done. We can't get it open. So we can't get state police to act on it. State police's own lieutenant colonel calls them a gray cover up, big gray cover up. But I wanted to, reason we come back on here today, Sheila and I are getting ready to, we're going to change it's going to be FS Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Sheila and I are going to start, we're retired. Sheila went back to school and been teaching some, substituting, but we're going to retire fully this time. And we've got an old boat and we've been working on it. We're going to take the boat and travel.
Yep.
That's our goal,
Try to
our
anyway.
dream. But so we were through with Johnny Edrington, unless anything else comes up. Now I've got another police officer, active police officer, a detective, and he's helping us quite a bit on this case. I'm hoping he takes it and really takes it somewhere, and we find out what happened to Johnny and who done it to him.
Exactly.
But somebody sent me this a while ago. Justice for Lowell County, London, Kentucky, and evidently it's a Facebook page. And down through here, I personally think they dismantled all the money. Down through here, and I haven't mentioned any names. In fact, I tell people, don't mention names on our page as far as accusatory or anything like that. Only times I've mentioned any names if it says it in Doug Asher's book, who the detectives were that investigated this case, who the doctor was, the ME, that's the only time I've mentioned anybody's names. I've not said anything that Doug Asher hasn't said
Himself.
or information that's known, but I will now. I will respond to this because this is on a Facebook page and this is from Jimmy Phelps. Now, the way that I understand it, Jimmy Phelps was one of the detectives that investigated Johnny Edrington's death. He was one of the state troopers that within 3 hours, according to Doug Asher's book. Now, I haven't talked to Jimmy Phelps. We put out an invitation to talk to him and the other two detectives, and haven't talked to him. But according to Doug Asher, within 3 hours of him getting back home, he met with those three detectives and said, "What do you think, guys?" And they said unanimously, "It's a S side." Well, that means that Jimmy Phelps was one of those that says it's an S side. He was one of the detectives. Now, we've asked for people to respond to our videos. We've asked for people to contact us. We've asked so we could communicate. Now, I'm going to read you what he said on a Facebook post, and then I've got a couple of comments. But this is from him. You've seen that movie Rambo, where he said he drew first blood. Well, this is first blood. If you want to, this guy opened the door for conversation with me because he's mentioned my name in here. And it says Fred McCoy has fallen in with Weddle and Lonnie Owens. I don't know. I don't even know Lonnie Owens. Sheila and I met Weddle, the mayor, one time. It's on television, Channel 27, when he gave us a check for $10,000, which is what he agreed to do for a reward. He upheld everything he said he would do. Other than that day, whenever that was, September the something, that 28th, I believe, that he gave us that check. That's the first and last time we'd ever spoken to him, not spoken to him since.
Exactly.
Don't know the guy other than meeting him that day and him handing us a $10,000 check, which we very much appreciated.
That was our first encounter with him and the only encounter with him.
First and last.
Mm-hmm.
And why people want to get on here and say things that's not true, I don't know. I don't know. It raises curiosity on my part. It does raise questions. Let's go on.
Okay.
Lonnie Owens, we don't know who that
I
is.
don't
Never
have
heard
any
that name
idea.
before. That's where, and he continues talking about me, that's where he's getting his information. Where I'm getting my information, are these guys police officers? Are they detectives? Were they there that night at the scene of Johnny's death? Why? How could they give me and Sheila any information?
Yeah.
That's where he's getting his information. Nobody on earth wants that case resolved more than we do. And the KSP could close that case in one day if they would include the facts. If they would include the facts. What facts, Jimmy? Do they have a note? Do they have a note from Johnny that night that says, I'm going to off myself? See, I don't think they do. I think that would have been, I don't think the state police would have had the FBI and the world famous Vincent so and so to investigate the autopsy and do that if there was that overwhelming evidence that you and Asher talk about. Open to close the case and show it, and it would convince us. What's there that would convince us? You know, why do we have to close the case? That's why I asked to talk to Jimmy Phelps, Stewart, Lewis, Asher. That's why we ask. Close the case, Jimmy? Do we really need to close the case to know what's in your head? Tell us. You were there. You called it an S side within 3 hours. You were there. Tell us. You're not obligated to secrecy. This is not a top secret government case. This is a homicide case here in Kentucky. You're no longer a Kentucky state trooper. You're not bound by no secret oath that you can't discuss something now. You're retired. Case has been locked away for 36 years. What do you want to tell us? You're not going to tell me on the phone, evidently, or on our video. So why don't you go to your Facebook page that you like posting on and tell the people? Tell them what that evidence is that you want them to see or hear. I'd be fascinated to know myself. Tell us where the shirt's at, Jimmy. Tell us how that shirt disappeared and who had possession of Johnny Edrington's shirt after the autopsy. When they removed his clothing to do the autopsy, how did that shirt disappear? Why is the shirt not in evidence? Why is his coat not in evidence? Why is his flashlight not in evidence? Why is his ankle holster not in evidence? Tell us that. That would be fascinating. I know it would be to me to know those questions, those answers to those questions. That would be things you could tell us. Jimmy, tell us whether it's a myth or the truth that Johnny Edrington got in a fight with a fellow trooper a few days before he was killed. Is that true or false? We don't know. See, we're hearing some things that we know is the truth, and some things we get that we don't know. When people send us things in writing off of a Facebook page, I assume with your name above that come from you. So if I'm incorrect, forgive me. I was misinformed. But if that is on your Facebook page and you said that, and you say we're in with Weddle and somebody else, you're wrong. You're mistaken. You know, we don't even cover the Doug Harless case anymore. That's how we started on this. We was covering Doug Harless case. And then one day on Laurel County, it come up, Doug Asher's book on Johnny Edrington. I was a detective back in those days up in Pike County. And I remembered the case and it fascinated us. And because we'd always heard it was a S side, they had us sold.
Yeah.
You guys, Jimmy, if you're one of the ones that labeled this a S side in the beginning, you had me fooled because I thought it was a S side for all these years until we started investigating and we found out you guys didn't even investigate it, Johnny or Jimmy. You didn't even investigate it. We have people that's come to us that reported things back then.
Mhm.
Not one of the three detectives nor Doug Asher ever interviewed them. Why? Why is that? See, I've got questions too. I'd love to have answers to. We don't have to get the state police to close the case with you. You know it. You know the case. And what would be nice if you would tell us the case, and then those people in Frankfurt or the Attorney General's office or the FBI, whoever someday investigates this, they look and see a comment that you made, and then they look at the evidence and they say, wow, this don't add up. Because you can say anything you want to on Facebook, say anything you want. But if it doesn't add up with what's in the file, with the evidence, that may be called a clue. See, I don't know what happened. I don't know where the rumors came from. I'm not part of those rumors.
Right.
We've never said no rumors. We've tried not to even repeat rumors. We knock people off of our comment page if they even mention your name, your brother's names. We knock them off. And especially when they're slanders or there's no proof to back up what they're saying. So why you would say that we're in with somebody else, that's curious to me. That's curious as to why you would want somebody, neutral people, associated with somebody in a political fro up there in London or Lowell County. I don't know what you all got going on up there, you and the mayor, and I don't know.
We don't have a dog in that fight.
We don't want a dog in that fight.
No.
We don't want to talk to none of those people in that. We'd like to talk to you because you were the detective, remember? You were there. Are you one of those guys in that picture? Those 4 troopers out there standing, or the 2 guys in tennis shoes, or the little guy in the red coat? Are you one of those? Because you've never said, nobody's ever told us who these people are. Who are these people? Is it Achardo? Is it Root? Is it Jimmy and Johnny Phelps? Is it, who is it? Because we don't know. But you do. You do. Because you were the investigator. Is it too much for us to ask? And now that you've wrote that on Facebook, I think it opens the door for me to be able to respond and say, hey, you're wrong. You've slandered us. You misinformed people when you tell people that we talked to the mayor, the mayor, that he gives us information. Not talked to that man since we met with him on television for the news.
We don't give him any information and he doesn't give us anything.
He don't have any information we could use.
We don't talk.
We get our own information. We get our information from people that say that they contacted the state police back when you were investigating this homicide, what you called a S-side, within 3 hours. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, I apologize. Please correct me with facts. In the comments so everybody can see. So state police, the Attorney General's office, the FBI, ever who reopens this case one day, Nancy Grace, ever who it might be, Law and Order, there's all kinds of people that's out there that hopefully someday will pick up on this, and then they can go by what you write in the comments and what you've got in your report in Frankfurt and see if everything's truthful and on the level. Because, see, we have nothing to lie about. We don't, like Sheila said, we don't have a dog in this fight. We're after the truth. And the Lord has put us on this, and until he takes us off, we're going to go on a boat. We're going to enjoy life, but we're not going to forget Johnny Edrington.
People keep giving us information all the time on stuff. I mean,
and he has. Here's your question, Jimmy. One question. Just answer this one in the comments. Was there a fight with Johnny Edrington and another Kentucky State Trooper? A fight, an argument, a push and shove, down on the parking lot pounding? Was there anything confrontational like that happened at post 11 in the parking lot between Johnny Edrington and another trooper? Answer that one question for us. Yes or no? It's real simple. Yes or no?
At least, what was it? 3
because
days?
We can compare that with what Doug Asher says and what the other people says that tells us this without going into a, like you say, a file, without going into a closed file, because that file may not be as closed as you think it is. And for you to want it closed where the truth will be known, what's in it? What in the world is in it? That it has to be closed. You were there. You know, there's an old saying, I feel you. Maybe, listen, guys, if I sound upset,
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's
that's
because
me.
I am.
Oh,
You know, usually I say if I sound upset, it's because I'm loud. It's because if I sound upset, it's because I'm upset.
yeah.
We've got a person here that I see on Facebook commenting on Facebook saying this is a S side. He wish he'd closed where the facts had come out. Okay, what's the facts? I mean, I can't put it no plainer. What is the facts, Jimmy? Tell us the facts that would convince us that Johnny Edrington offed himself. Tell us how his gun was in the wrong hand. Tell us how he fell 6 feet back and his flashlight went for 5 more feet, but his gun stayed in his hand. Can you explain that to us? Is that in your head or in the file? Because if it's in the file, it's in your head. I've worked thousands of cases. Some cases you just don't forget, and especially when a fellow trooper is murdered. We don't know the mayor. We don't
No,
know Mayor
once
Weddle.
again,
We don't want Mayor Weddle to contact us. We don't want this. The other guy, name
yeah,
somebody else.
yeah.
And we don't want nobody. If all people have is rumors, if all you have is rumors, guys, we don't need it. Thank you. And thanks for your support. We need facts. We need these people that says they called the state police and reported this 36 years ago. And not even a detective, not even a trooper showed up to ask them about what they seen or didn't see. Or why is that? I know you called it a suicide, a S side within hours, but you couldn't even. You can go to California and talk to people, or you can't even talk to people because they didn't want to talk. You can't go to Eddyville State Penitentiary and talk to people and interview them. Don't want to fool with them. And according to the newspaper, I'm going by the newspaper. See, that's all we've got. Newspaper, Facebook pages where people comment. But you made that comment, and that comment says the KSP could. Nobody on earth wants that case resolved more than we do. And the KSP could close that case in one day if they would include the facts. KSP could close it in one day. KSP doesn't have to close it. It's in your head. It's in your head, big guy. All you got to do is tell these people.
So what facts don't they have that would close it?
There is no facts, babe. That's what you call pulling the wool over people's eyes. Now, listen, I've never been a person to beat around the bush when I want to say something. And now that he's opened the door, I can say it because he's already made a false allegation that I'm in with the mayor and some other guy.
Well,
Don't know them people. So I've already been wronged. You think you've been wronged by the mayor or other people? You just done the same thing to Fred McCoy with no facts, with nothing substantial to back that up at all. You done exactly what you say you don't like people doing to you. You don't like rumors. Well, guess what you just started right there on Facebook? You just started a rumor when you said Fred McCoy gets his information from Mayor Weddle and so and so. That's a rumor, and you just started it. That came from you. It's no different than the rumors that I read in the newspapers from back in 1988 about you and other people. Do we believe rumors? You believe that I'm in with it with the mayor. So I guess that makes these rumors true back in 1988 about you and the rumors that was, or the what you call rumors. Are they true? You, you're saying this about me. I'm asking you, are those statements true about you, or are they rumors, or are they true? Because you're talking on Facebook like you know what for a fact. Fred's into it. Fred's in with the mayor. Guys, Jimmy Phelps has the answers. He's one of the 4 men that has the answers. There's 4 state troopers there. He's one of them. He has the answers. Don't let them kid you. Don't let them tell you, oh, I'd love to see this file closed. I almost want to cuss, and I ain't cussed in a no, I ain't going to, but that just makes me so angry. Makes me so angry. You don't have to close the file, big guy. Tell us. Tell these people what you know. Tell us from the time you got the call. Where were you? Were you on duty? Were you 10-8 that night? Were you patrolling? What part of the county were you in when you got the call that Johnny's missing? Johnny's not reported in at midnight. Were you at home? Were you at a honky tonk? Where were you? I want to say something else because we do have other evidence, but I won't show it right now or mention it. I can tell you one place you was. I can tell you one place you were at. What happened when you got there? Were you the first one there? Were you the second? Were you the third?
Who was there? Yeah.
Who was there when you got there? Who was there when they got there and saw this gun in Johnny's hand? Who was the first person there? Who was the second person? We'd like to know that, see? And as an investigator, you can appreciate that. You're an investigator. Well, I don't know if you are or not, Jimmy. I'll just tell you. A suicide within 3 hours of a colleague, a Kentucky State Trooper, lights on, radar locked in, flashlight over the side. Wow. So many questions. Suicide. Wow. And you wonder why people's always questioned this case?
There's a lot of unanswered.
Who went for the autopsy? Who accompanied Johnny's body to the autopsy to Frankfurt? Were you there? Were you at the autopsy of Johnny Edrington? Who received his items? Huh?
His belongings.
Thanks. Who received his belongings? His trousers, his shirt, his shoes, his belt? Who took his gun that night? Jimmy? Who took Johnny Edrington's gun that night from that scene? Had to be. Asher wasn't there yet. He didn't get there till that morning. Which one of you 3 detectives took possession of Johnny Edrington's gun? Was that the only round that was fired out of his gun? Was one? Was there a round fired from his gun? Did you recover the bullet? Was the bullet still in his head, or did it go through and through? So many questions, Jimmy. So many questions we'd love to ask, and you've got the answers. You can answer every question that I just asked. As fast as I ask them, you can answer them because you were there. You know who was first, second, third, and there. You were the detective. You know what went on. You know who went to the autopsy. You know who took the valuables along with his shirt from the autopsy. You know. Well, I won't say that you know. Do you know where the shirt is today? Do you know where his shirt is today? Do you know where the pictures are? Who's got the pictures, Jimmy? I'll ask you that question straight out. Where those? I feel you, babe. Who's got the pictures, Jimmy, of Johnny's scene? The duplicate pictures. The duplicate. You've got them at your house, correct? Or do you? I'll ask it in a question form. Do you have the pictures? Who took possession of his gun? That's an interesting question, isn't it? We can go on and on and on. Any good investigator, any half-wit investigator can solve this case with the evidence and looking in that whatever they got left, if there's anything left over the last 36 years with different commissioners coming in and different people and trustworthy people. Look at your history. Google Kentucky State Police Commissioners of the last 40 years. Look and see how many of them left in disgrace, how many of them left in shame, how many of them left indicted, how many of them left in federal prison. Look and see. Kentucky State Police. Now, some of them's their information's been deleted. Used to be you could go way back on Google. I was told the other day you can get that stuff taken off if you want, if you know what you're doing. And they have, because a lot of it's, but way back in that day, people made copies of things. So I don't know Jimmy Phelps from Adam. I could run up on him on the street today, him or his brothers. Wouldn't know him from Adam. Well, I could go by a picture, at least one picture that we've seen, and probably recognize them. Don't know him from Adam. Why? What would be the purpose in this man attacking Fred McCoy? Because I'm asking questions. Sheila and I are asking questions about a man's death that has been ruled a homicide by everybody in the country except 4 Kentucky State troopers and a assistant, a 40-year-old assistant medical examiner at the time. But yet his bosses, boss on top of boss on top of boss, all the way to the FBI, all the way to a famous expert, ruled it differently. Why is that? Why is Jimmy, I'm asking you a question. Why are you and Doug Asher, don't know the other two, I don't know Lewis, and I've seen them in photo that all of you are in. But you and Doug Asher wants to have this man's name defamed, have this man slandered, have this man called a S-side, him with a child and grandchildren. Why? Why is that so important to you with no more evidence than a man that fell 6 feet and flashlight flung behind him? Show us those pictures you got. Show us those pictures. Show us where that flashlight's at compared to where his gun is. See, because you as a cop, I don't know what hand you are. I'm right-handed. I'll walk up to a car. My flashlight's in my left hand where I can look. Now, I get shot between the eyes and I fall back. Flashlight's going to be on my left side because I've carried it in my left hand. We know, you all know we don't carry our lights in our gun hand. So my flashlight's laying on my left side back here. Both my arms are over my head. You look at the photos, you got them. How in the world did my flashlight end up on my left side over here?
With the gun in the hand.
And with the gun in my left hand.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? If that's what it is.
That's a good question.
You got the pictures. Some of it's just common sense, babe. Yeah. Some of it don't take a real smart person to figure out.
Yeah, that was one of my questions.
For a man to make a comment and say, I wish they'd close this out and tell the facts. What's the facts? What in the world could change to turn this into a S-side that so many people conspired to make it a homicide? Wow. Because I'm going to tell you something. And I don't have a whole lot of faith in Frankfurt anymore, especially in the Kentucky State Police. But over you and Doug Asher, I believe Frankfurt. Can't believe what you say because you just wrote a false statement about somebody you don't even know, never met, and you made an assumption there. You made a false statement that the mayor gives me information. The mayor, I don't know if the mayor's ever been a cop or not. I don't know if he's ever been a cop or not. If I won't go there. I know. Okay. That's all I've got, guys, on Johnny Edrington case. That's the newest. Again, we didn't have nothing else on Johnny Edrington.
Mm-mm.
We wasn't going to be posting anything else other than thanking the lady for our shirts.
They're beautiful.
And on the back, Sheila will post them,
Fantastic.
but they also say
Yep.
when he died and so
Yep.
forth like that.
He was a military veteran. It's got everything.
But we wasn't
Daniel
going to
had.
post anything else until something else came up. We just waiting on the Lord. The good Lord, if it's meant to be, he'll send us, just like he's been sending us stuff off and on.
I agree.
He'll send it to us if it's meant to be. And if it's not meant to be, then, it'll
It'll be a mystery.
it'll be a mystery. It's a shame that it's a mystery because that just tells you your Kentucky State Police, you can't trust people. You can't trust your governor, your Kentucky State Police, your Attorney General's office. You can't trust them because if they're not interested in finding out what happened to this man for Jimmy's sake and for our sake, we don't, if it's one way or the other. At this point, Sheila and I don't care. But the facts, we believed for years and years and years it was an S side until Doug Asher come out with his book, and he was so bent out of shape on trying to prove it was a S side. It was so important to him 35 years later, but it wasn't important enough for him back then. It wasn't important enough to Jimmy. Jimmy, you draw a retirement check. See, I don't draw a retirement check. I draw Social Security because my retirement, I turned the sheriff in for corruption along with the Commonwealth Attorney and different people in Pike County. And I kind of got fired. I kind of lost my job after 10 years because I stood up
For what was
when
right.
I didn't get no cooperation with the investigation, when it was swept to the side by the Kentucky State Police, then we went to the media. We held a press conference, somewhat like you and Doug Asher could have done way back and got this thing resolved at the time while the evidence was fresh. But see, it wasn't important enough to you at the time. It wasn't important enough to you to try to clear up whether S side or homicide. Had to get that retirement check first. Now I'm drawing a little old Social Security check, and now they take half of it because they say they overpaid me. While you're drawing a big Kentucky State Police retirement along with Doug, and then you want to call a fellow trooper a S side when all evidence points to homicide, when it's been ruled a homicide. That's the most slanderous thing you could do. Why the Edrington family, and I'm talking to them right now, why they don't file suits for slander and libel, I'll never know, because it don't come no plainer than that. When you write in a book or you say on Facebook, you're up, baby. I feel you.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We hope you're having a great day. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next
Keep those
one.
tips coming, people. Keep those
Please
tips.
do.
We don't want the rumors, but if you have facts and you know something, there was a lady that posted on one of these. It was on another trooper's website or something on his Facebook page that somebody sent to us,
Mm-hmm.
and it said me and my husband heard the shots that
Plural.
night. Plural.
Yeah.
Heard the shots. What shots? How did a man that committed S side fire shots? Now, maybe she hit an S instead of shot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she hit an S by mistake.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you're listening, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see how far you live from that scene.
From the
We'd like to come up there, and we've got a bullet catcher that you can shoot point blank and it'll catch the bullet for you. We'd like to come up around the side of the road where Johnny was at and fire off a couple of rounds, and somebody else be at your house filming and see if we could hear those rounds there. See if you could actually hear something that night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did actually hear it, why didn't the state police come and talk to you?
That's
Mr. Phelps, did you go talk to somebody within range there that said they heard shots? How in the world? What did he do? Miss the first one? Did he miss the first one and then had to shoot again? Wow. These are questions that people can help answer.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, there's two of you out there I'm disappointed in, because there's two of you out there that I had confidence in. I thought for sure that you would contact us and tell us what you know, because we're not saying nothing,
Mm-mm-mm.
but you're sad too. You're sad. It just discredits law enforcement altogether. When you believe in law enforcement and you think they got to be some good out there, there's some good officers, but everywhere you look, you've got more corruption and more deceit.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. God bless. Bye.